What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Part-Timers Barbecue. I'm Max, the part-time pitmaster. And if you saw my previous video last week when I did that brisket cook, this video here is how I prepped it up. So I trimmed it and how I seasoned it. Obviously I didn't have enough space, so I chopped it in half. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we have a full pack of brisket. Now, this one looks awesome. Good amount of marbling. The striations you can see through here. That's always a good sign that you're gonna get yourself a juicy point. Or sorry, juicy flat. So when you open this, you're gonna be cutting this muscle out anyway. So that's where I'm gonna make my incision. And all that's going to do is ensure we don't make a gouge in our brisket by accident. Now the other thing is, you never know what you're going to get with a brisket until it gets out of the packaging. So I got a paper towel down here. We're going to get it out. You don't want to get all the red pathogens and juices that are inside the bag all over the place. You don't want that, it's no good. So I'm just gonna lift this out quickly and we're gonna throw it right in the garbage. And I have this here to soak up the bottom. I'm gonna start patting out this side here. All right, so we're dabbed off now. There's a big piece of meat. So as you can see, this is comprised of two muscles. Most people know this, but if you're new to barbecue and you're trying to learn, this is for you. You got your flat right here, which is the leaner section, and then what sits above that is the point right here. So here's the flat, and the point sits on top of it. Here we have the heel, or the decal. It's a big hard piece of fat that's gonna do you no good. We're going to trim off some of the scragglies. We're going to get some of this surface fat and silver skin off, shape it up nicely, trim the fat on the other side, and yeah. So let's break into it. First, we're going to get rid of this right here. So we're going to take our knife at the top, and we're just going to follow it down. And even get a little piece of meat here. I'm going to take that right off. See this right here? It's all solid fat. It won't render down, and all it's going to do is cause problems. Now you see we got some oxidized meat here. That is in the plant when the blade runs through. It's not bad, but we're going to take it off anyway. So we're going to take our knife, and we're just going to take that right off. Start with a clean edge, and that will allow you to see the thickness of the fat cap when we're trimming down. So we expose that a bit here. Other than that, right now we're going to start working on just this surface fat here. So I'm going to take my longer knife, which is flexible, and I'm going to use that to start shaving off this surface fat. So this surface fat here, you don't need to take it off, but it's not going to hurt you. It's going to stop rub from adhering. It's going to fall off and render down and just leave your meat with bald patches. Now, always when you're trimming, I should say, go with the grain. It makes life a lot easier. Get your hand underneath there, perch it up, and just go. So I'm going to fast forward through a lot of this here for video's sake. And I'll stop and explain every now and then. So see right here, we have a bit of a fat seam. You want to work it out a bit, but don't start gouging out your meat just to get at it. It's going to be there. There's not much you can do about it. You don't want to take gouges out. You want everything to be nice and smooth. pretty good so far. All right, now we're gonna work on getting this out and cleaned up here. So as you can see, we still got some more oxidized. So we're gonna come right down here. We're gonna just take it off. Come right here. I'm just gonna cut that off. We'll deal with that after. And we're gonna work a little bit more on this fat seam right here. Okay, let's flip it around and we're gonna start dealing with the top side. So see here, I got all this fat inside here. We're gonna start working that out, and then we're gonna cut off this little flap here because that's gonna do nothing but burn up. We're gonna shape it down a bit more, but let's get into here because this is just a huge pocket. So you can just slowly go in and start working it out. And you're gonna see one of the benefits to this, because one, you don't wanna get this slice here and just have a big ball of fat. No one's gonna like that. It's gonna mess up your cook. So we're gonna just remove it. So that would be perfect if you make sausages. Now this right here is just gonna be awful. It's just gonna dry up. So we're just gonna take it right off. Perfect. So now this should sit a little bit flatter once we carve a little bit more of this out. Or it's not gonna sit flatter and I'm gonna eat my words. We'll see. No, so we're most likely gonna have to take this off. So I'm just gonna take my knife and go down. Now remember, a lot of these things here aren't gonna be good by the end of the cook. So you take them off now so you can take more care in the things at the end. This big pocket of fat right here, you want to get rid of that. You want to take that down. Okay. Now the back side of this point here, all that, we're going to get rid of this too. There's a lot of trimming that's involved with brisket if you want a good final product. Just is what it is. Be prepared to most likely cut off more than you think is necessary. It's just the way it goes. Over here, this overhang, flip it around right here and start shaving that down a bit too. Okay, so now on this side, you can see how much fat needs to come off, and we're gonna lose this right here. Let's start shaving this fat cap down. So I'm gonna lift up, go little by little, no big deal. If you scalp it a little bit, it's not the end of the world. It happens, like it did to me just there. Now, I am no professional brisket cooker by any means. I'm not a complete novice either, but I still got stuff to work on myself. Well, we're looking pretty good. The fat cap's not huge here. You can see through it. It's nice and soft. That's always a good sign. You can honestly sit here and whittle away at briskets for a long period of time. See this end here? It's not super thin, but what we are gonna do is round it out a bit. So I'm just gonna notch it like this. This side here, I'm gonna round that off as well. It's pretty much all we need to do. Just clean up some of these little spots here. We are pretty good. This one's kind of mounted up here. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is what it is. Kind of push it down a bit. This is a backyard trim, so at the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much. I think we're pretty good, actually. I think we're gonna leave it at that. We trimmed off a fair bit. Another thing I want to tell you guys is the grain, I find, always runs on your fatter side. So see how the grain's running this way? It's always running to the fatter side. So that thin side we took off there would be the with the grain. This thick side here is the way the grain's running. So you don't really need to sit there and take a notch out of it, because you should basically know. The thicker the side, that's the side the grain rides. Pull that off. We're looking pretty good. I might get this little thing here. This little knob. The little frillies are along the side. And take those off. Alright, nothing left to do now but season it up. So, use my mustard, apple cider vinegar as a binder, the usual. Mix that all around, hit your edges. First layer. I like this one. It's not just for chicken and ribs, it's actually really good on beef. But it's got that nice reddy color, so I enjoy that as a base layer. So now I got that on there. I'm gonna go over with my Barky briskets. It is a pimped out SPG basically. Good salt, pepper, bigger pepper flakes on there. So we're gonna give a nice coat of that over top. And this definitely lives up to its name. It's a good bark developer. We'll be smoking this fat cap up, so let's season the bottom first. Now, repeat the process with the top. Chicken or rib first. Okay, so now we're all trimmed up, we're seasoned, and it's ready for the pit. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you haven't already, you can check out my Instagram page for more content between the posts. I'll link that in the caption. Remember, keep that smoke alive and have yourself a wonderful day.